women are miserable is because they're disregarding human instinct. There's a pattern that's showing up in so many relationships, and it's very predictable. And I can tell you how it goes. So this woman falls in love with a man, and he's wonderful, and he pays attention to her, and he gives her love the way she wants it, and he communicates, and he's just a really good guy. And she's like, "This is wonderful. I want to be with you." And then at some point down the line, he shifts, and it could be when they move in, it could be when they get married. But to her, it's a very clear something clicked. He disappeared. He retreated into himself. He stopped talking to her the way he used to. He stopped touching her the way he used to. He stopped paying attention to her. And this is a really scary moment and frustrating and confusing and what's going on. And some women wonder if it's something they did, but they go and try to do something about it. And they say, "Hey, like, what's up? What's going on?" And they will share with trepidation, "You don't talk to me the way you used to. You don't talk to me anymore." Or, "You're always on your phone and I feel like we don't spend time together anymore." Or she'll say, like, "Are you okay? Like, you seem different, or you seem sad, or you seem depressed, or you seem angry." And what she's thinking is like, "This isn't the guy I met. This isn't the guy I fell in love with. And like, where did he go?" And she wants to collaborate on bringing this back, and she's willing to look at the relationship. And he gives her a reply that is frankly heartbreaking and plants the seeds for the demise of their relationship. He says, "I don't know what you're talking about. It's fine. I'm fine." Or, "I'm busy. I'm just busy at work." Or, "I'm just stressed." Or, "Oh, we got babies." Sometimes this happens when you have babies. "It's just the kids. It's just a lot right now. Haven't been sleeping. Not feeling well." And she's like, you know, her intuition, her instincts are telling her that ain't it. That ain't it. But, that's what he's saying. So she trusts him, and she's like, "Okay, maybe it's just a season, maybe it's just a phase, maybe it's just a thing. I'll wait, I'll be patient." And they have a couple beautiful moments. Sometimes he looks at her the way he did before, and sometimes they have fun on a vacation. But like 90, 95% of the relationship, there's this chilliness and distance. Like, she can't get through to him. He's closed off. He's inside his shell. And she's like, "Is this really my marriage? Am I really going to live like this?" And God forbid if she's pregnant or having babies at the same time as this going on, it is the nightmare. It is a woman's nightmare. Our instincts are freaking out. Here I am. This is my provider and protector. We're in this house together. I'm going to have his baby. I can't leave him. I don't want to leave him. I need him. I still love him. And he is starving me. I am being starved of the nourishment I need. I'm being starved of connection. I'm being starved of eye contact. I'm being starved of romance. I feel like he's draining the life out of me. And when she talks to him about it again, the next time, he acts like he's never heard of this before, first of all, and because he might not remember. And then he also says something similar as what he said before. And it's fine. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? I go to work every day. I give you all the money. I take care of the kids. I do way more than my father ever did. What do you want from me? It's never good enough. Or he collapses into victimhood. Guess I'm just a bad guy. Guess I'm just a shitty husband. Or he says nothing. Some men just say absolutely nothing and just stare at you, and you feel more alone than ever. And this is the second wedge. And when this happens, he retreats a little more, because now he feels as though you don't like him, you don't approve of him, you don't appreciate him, you don't see him. Here he is doing everything for you. That's his mind, right? His instinct is saying, "I'm doing everything for you. My life, my way of being is to do everything for you." And still you're not happy. Still it's not good enough. What would it take for you? And this is where you get, the community of men who say it's impossible to satisfy women. It does not matter what you do for them. They'll always be mad. And you get the community of women saying, like, men like are stunted emotionally. They can't even have a conversation about the relationship. They can't even hear what you're saying. And it's just devastation for both of them because they love each other, they have kids together, they want to make this work. And then what's next, right? What's next? They soldier on a little longer. But now she's mad. Now she's hurt. Now she's like, wow, you really don't give a shit how I feel. You really don't pay attention to me. Like, it doesn't matter what I say to you. You like actively are blowing me off. You're actively rejecting my bids to fix this relationship. Wow. What am I going to do now? Now I'm really screwed. Now I'm in this deeper. The investment is so deep. I still love you, but my direct attempts to connect and to understand and to build with you have been blown off more than once. And this can go on for years, right? This can go on for years, this pattern, this cycle of like trying to have like a sit down with you about this important thing. And like a lot of women will read books on it and listen to podcasts and learn about nonviolent communication. And no matter how beautifully she delivers it, he's like, here she comes again. She's always complaining about me. She's always got a problem. Until one day she comes up to him and she says, I'm not happy and I haven't been happy for a long time. And he's like, what? Like, what now? And in his head, he's thinking, yeah, what? I'm not happy either. You think I'm happy like this? You think I'm happy working and being a wallet and coming home to a woman who can't even let me touch her because she's, well, I don't know why. She's pissed off. She's shut down. And you're like, yeah, because you don't talk to me at all. Why would I want anything to do with you? You don't want anything to do with me unless, something physical. Some men don't even want the physical thing because they're scared. They're scared to be rejected when you look unhappy and when you're dissatisfied. But this conversation of I'm not happy to a woman is like, this is a red flag, hun. This is your last warning. This is your chance. Like, get up, figure it out, wake up, do something. And it has the exact opposite effect. For him, it's wow, I'm really unappreciated here. I'm really not the guy for her. I guess she wants someone completely different. I don't know what she wants from me, but I can't give it. So he shuts down completely. Complete and utter close down of the emotions and the energy and of his offerings. And often he'll keep doing the dutiful things. He'll keep making the money. He'll keep fixing the cars. He'll keep showing up in the ways that are part of his honor code. And a woman will keep doing the same things too. The things she always did, the things to provide for the family and the home, and make the money often too. Um, and then what? Then one day she says, I want a divorce. And he says, what? How could you do this to us? And she's like, you're surprised? What? And he's like, yeah, like we have these kids together, we have these house. Like, what are you doing? Why do you want to break up the family? She's like, I told you I was unhappy for a long time. It's like, yeah, I'm unhappy too. You're being selfish. So he starts accusing her of her selfishness, even though for maybe decades she has been tolerating the isolation and lack of connection that has broken her heart completely. And now she's numb. She doesn't actually want his attention. She doesn't want his affection. She doesn't want to build with him because she gave up on that. She realized it wasn't going to happen for her and for him. And at this point, one of two things happens. One, he joins the leagues of bitter, confused, angry men who have to split up their assets, who feel robbed of the promise of a lifelong marriage, who are devastated not to have their kids half the time, and who blame it on women and the way women are. And they don't trust the feminine anymore. And they swear they're never going to trust like that ever again. And then some men go, oh my God, I cannot lose this woman. I cannot lose these kids. And they have just enough self awareness to start looking for help. And they might go to therapy. And therapy can go one of two ways. One way that therapy goes is the therapist validates everything he says and vilifies his wife because the therapist is there to make him feel good about himself and raise his self esteem and help him to have a growth mindset. There'll be other women. You can be in a relationship with someone who really appreciates you and sees you, someone who values what you give. You're a great man, pumps him up. And he's like, yeah, my wife's a bitch. She doesn't see who I am. And this puts the final nail in the coffin because now he's got an ego that he brings back to her on how ungrateful she is. And she's like, wow, if this man could be any further off the mark, I couldn't make it up because he has lost the plot completely. Many therapists don't understand that he doesn't really actually know what the whole story is, just like she doesn't. Because our instincts keep us in this tunnel vision of my perspective is the only perspective. So he shares with her what a good guy he's been, how he's been loyal, how he's taken care of the kids and even cleaned the house and been like this super dad. And his wife never had sex with him and was always grumpy and unappreciative. But he doesn't share that he shut down emotionally like 10 years ago. He doesn't share that he doesn't know how to hold space for anyone's emotions. He doesn't share that he's highly triggered by any complaints or needs his wife has. And he doesn't share this because he doesn't know. He doesn't know that. His instincts and his conditioning are keeping him totally in the dark about those things. So you go back to his wife's side, and she's like, again, losing complete faith in the masculine. Like either this is just men and they hate us, they don't love us, they're only here for us, when we shut up and clean the house and give them sex. Or she's like, my man's a narcissist. My man is particularly wounded, and I need to try again and find a man who gets it, a man who is healthy, a man who knows how to treat a woman right. That's one option. The other option is he gets some help from a marriage expert. He gets some men's coaching, or he talks to a woman like me who understands these instinctual dynamics under the surface. And that person is going to hold them accountable. That person is not going to placate their ego. That person is going to say, here's how you made your wife unsafe for 20 years. And this is a absolutely predictable biological consequence. When a woman feels emotionally unsafe, she will shut down physically, she will shut down emotionally, and then she will not be able to tolerate living with you anymore. Doesn't mean you're a bad man, doesn't mean you didn't love her, doesn't mean you didn't care, but this is how it goes. And you never learned how to tolerate your own emotion, you never learned how to communicate, you never learned how to listen. And those things are exactly what a woman needs. And so that expert will teach this person how to do it. And then the woman is even madder. How come it took you this long? Why didn't you figure it out before? Why didn't you listen to me when I said this to you so many times? You're not listening. You're not talking to me. You're not paying attention. Why weren't my words enough? And her instincts are telling her it's because he didn't care. It's because he's selfish. It's because, he didn't want to listen. It's just inconvenient to him. It's just dismissing me. And then she's at this crossroads of now the man is doing for her the things that she wants him to do and that she needed him, not even doing for it. Now he's being the man she needed him to be. But her libido has left the building. Her emotions are completely shut off. She's likely completely burnt out from existing in a state of deprivation for so long. And she remembers the story. She's not going to forget it as long as she lives. She could tell that same story to her grandchildren and she would remember every detail. She's going to say, I asked and I asked and I asked and I reached out and I tried and I tried and I tried and he kept slamming the door in my face. And you can ask that same man, what's the story? What happened? And he's going to say, well, I don't know. Like, she did say something a couple times, but I just felt like she was making me the problem. And he doesn't even have anything else to say, but I know what he did. He shut down. He felt like she was after him for something. He didn't really know what it was because he didn't really have the awareness that he wasn't doing something he was supposed to do. He was just running an instinctual program that says provide for the wife and the kids, be honest, be loyal, and work hard. And then everything will be okay. And everything was not okay because the way he does that is to shut down his emotional responses, to go into freeze state, to be irritable, to be short. And that made his wife very, very sad. So you ask him the story, he doesn't know any of that. He just remembers that, yeah, things were tense. And yeah, he was really, really stressed because there was so much going on with the kids and the work and taking care of a whole home. And he thought this just is how it is. This is just how it is when you're a dad. And that the right thing to do is soldier on. And I was soldiering. He didn't realize the cost of soldiering. He didn't realize that it was very visible to her that he was a stone cold soldier. He just thought that's what you do. And then he'll say, yeah, and we didn't have very much sex, and I didn't like that. But she seemed really, she seemed like she didn't want to, and she seemed tired. So I didn't want to pressure her. I didn't want to be an asshole. I didn't want to be, this guy who's like, greedy and selfish about sex. And she was tired. She had kids, and she did look kind of burnt out, and she wanted to connect with him too. But he was just using his instincts to read the signs, and he felt like that was not a green light, that was a red light, and so he backed off to honor her, thinking she wanted space, thinking she needed time away. But she didn't need that. She needed connection with him, which he didn't know how to give. This story is so predictable and it repeats again and again and again. And I've spoken to so many men who have no idea how painful it was for their wives. Even when they're doing the work, even when they've done the work, they still will say things like, I know it was bad, but I didn't think it was that bad. I didn't I didn't really I don't know, like they want to validate her. They want to honor that she says it was so painful and that she wanted to die and that now she's a shut down different person. But they can't really understand it. And to me, this is the greatest tragedy of our time, honestly, of men and women, because all this can be explained with instincts, with understanding that we're mammals. And before I learned this, my marriage was on the same trajectory. It was falling apart, and I was bringing it up. It's falling apart. What are we going to do here? And I was getting the same response, the shutdown and the retreat, the rebuffing with like, you're the one, you're the problem, not you're bringing up a problem, but you bringing it up is the problem. And when I learned how predictable this is, and when I learned that men and women have these different ways of being and reactions, everything changed and I applied it and boom, I was able to navigate my relationship with success. I was able to bring back the love and connection. I was able to open up the shutdown that my partner was in. And then I started teaching other women to do it. But I was afraid. I was afraid to tell them what I really knew, which is you've been lied to about men and women your whole life, and this is why you can't navigate a marriage. You've been brought up on shoulds, right? Men should communicate effectively. Men should be able to listen to criticism and critique. Men should interact in marriages exactly the same way women do because women are now the gold standard for relational expertise and excellence. Not saying we're not amazing, we're brilliant, which is why I love coaching women because women get it like this, what's going on. But partly that's our instincts. We have the ability to attune, like we do to our children, in a way that is quite miraculous and beautiful. And what's really sad about this is that we've now collected into camps the women who hate the men and say they're all emotional babies and they should grow the F up. And the men who've collected in groups and saying women are myopic, money grubbing babies who just want attention and everything their way. And we're all just heartbroken, heartbroken, heartbroken because we want a man to love us. We want a woman to love us. We want to trust them. We want to feel like it can last. We want to have that secure home. But we can't have it unless we come to terms with the absolute fact that we are mammals. And mammals have different mating strategies and they have different survival strategies. And this is what I'm going to be talking about is how that plays out in relationships. So if you want to know more about that, if that's something that seems important to you, welcome to my world. Let's talk about it.